Hi everyone. I hope everyone had lunch and not sleeping. Just take a cup of tea and then start this PWA new session with Akanksha. Akanksha is a PWA strategic in CD commerce, and she's going to share about like how to brands choose in this market, like the strategy, what strategy they have to choose. So let's hear more about strategy to choose the PWA from Akanksha. Akanksha, over to you.
Thank you, Manish. Hi, everyone. In this session, I will walk you through the relevance of PWA in the ever-changing landscape of the e-commerce world. And we'll also try to address the when part, that when brands need to step into the game, and what are the strategies that they need to deploy. Prior to that, I'll take a moment to introduce myself. I am Akanksha, and I work in the capacity of a PWA marketing strategist at Said Commerce. And I'm going to be your host for this session. And this presentation that I'm going to do will be in three parts majorly. We will begin with a brief into why PWA shall be considered by brands. And in the second part, we will go through a PWA success strategy, wherein we worked with startup, and Said Commerce had the chance to play a role in their success story, how we created a solution and what worked and what did not work for them. And the third part, lastly, will be the Q&A session. Okay, all right, so let's begin. So when in 2020, the pandemic began and it continues even till date, businesses around the world were affected. Although e-commerce still emerged as one of the safest bets for businesses, it was definitely a testing time and also a time for trial and error for many businesses, especially for the ones which were smaller, which had minimal or zero online presence. So, in order to survive, businesses started transitioning to the web. We could see many businesses that were particularly in the offline zone now making the transition to the web. And the ones which were already on the online platform were working towards creating matchless experiences for their customers in order to set themselves apart from their competitors. Now we all know that business is all about making the right decisions at the right time. So investing into some solution blindly wasn't going to solve the purpose. So that is where deliberations become all the more important. We need to weigh all the options that we have so that the right decision can be taken. Now, we can't deny the role that mobile e-commerce is going to play, especially during the times when people are living under lockdowns in certain parts of the world, even till date, when movement restrictions are being exercised. So, in order to revive businesses, PWA is going to act as a tool to enable the process. And it's pretty obvious that in order to stay relevant in the changing times, brand will for sure need to adapt to new technologies. Without a doubt, it can be said that PWA is the future, and sooner rather than later, businesses will need to make the shift. Sorry. Okay. So businesses are changing at such a rapid scale, especially during the pandemic, and customers' behavioral patterns have also changed pretty quickly. The expectations and demands of the customers have also changed. The customer acquisition strategies have upgraded, and the way one expects to conduct sales has also changed. We have all seen that customers have now become more dependent on the digital market, which is definitely a good thing, but which also shows that mobile e-commerce is a growing trend. Now, this demand has also caused a rise in the number of products ordered using mobile apps of e-commerce. Now, we looked through some latest research material and we ended up finding that retailers saw as much as a 36% increase in mobile app downloads and 54% growth in in-app purchases during the COVID pandemic, which comes around to be, I believe, a 58% to 60% increase in in-app transactions year on year. And surprisingly, the biggest spike happened in the initial 3 months of the pandemic, when in-app orders jumped to almost 80% in June. Now here we can see that the growth of mobile commerce is expected to continue in 2021 as did happen through 2020. With mobile sales expected to increase to almost $3.56 trillion by the end of 2021. Now, with the number of mobile users currently at close to over a 5 billion and continuing as far as trends go, there's nothing that indicates that mobile commerce is going to stop anytime soon. We could safely say that almost 2 out of every $3 spent on online purchases today is done through mobile device. Now, this mobile e-commerce growth is predicted to grow at an exponential rate and reach almost 73% by 2021. Now, it does come as a surprise that shoppers tend to get impulsive and have constantly changing demands, as a result of which large or small, every retailer will need to continuously demonstrate that their app shopping experience can be made better and makes life easier for its customers. Now, we come across two biggest challenges that businesses need to address. One is that they need to keep their shopper engaged, and obviously, re engagement is a challenge. And native apps were particularly created for this very job, but their limitations became pretty evident as time passed. On the other hand, PWA was a much more dynamic solution that presented a lot more opportunities when compared to native apps. So it brings the best of both worlds and converts websites into apps. Now, a very important question is that why should brands even bother? Well, they should, because the growing support for PWAs is driven by demands from leading brands that are willing to take full advantage of their capabilities. And another thing that needs to be mentioned here is that big names like Twitter, Starbucks, Washington Post, Pinterest, and many more have launched their PWAs in recent times. For businesses that are trying to optimize user experiences, PWA somewhere fits right into the requirements, be it because of the budget, the features, or even the development time. Robust PWA solutions are pretty useful in empowering the businesses and adding a right balance to their venture. Also, another reason why brands should consider moving towards PWA is that customer-driven experiences in e-commerce has arrived, and in pretty much no time, almost every second business will be doing that. And in order to take a head start, the earlier the better, right? So the fact that progressive web apps are simple to develop, test, and maintain even post deployment makes it not just a popular but also a smart choice. Now here we have some big brands that have taken the plunge, and results have been pretty awesome for them. As we can see, Twitter is one of the early PWA adopters, and its PWA, it goes by the name Twitter Lite. It takes up less than a megabyte and saves up to 70% of data, and loads 30% faster, so that if the first loads for Twitter Lite clock in at under 5 seconds over 3G network, and subsequent loads are almost instant, even on pretty flaky networks. Next one is Make My Trip. It's another popular name, a travel booking site in India. It launched a PWA to offer its users an effective and reliable mobile booking experience, which does well regardless of the location or the network ability. Now, after which the company saw its conversion rate increase to up to 3 times. YouTube and Clipchamp, which is an in-browser online video editor, have been the recent names which have jumped on the bandwagon. And Clipchamp saw a 9% higher retention with PWA users. And obviously not to forget YouTube, which is the latest one. PWA support for YouTube.com started in the early days of January, and we are yet to see how it goes for them. Next up, we have a representation of how customer loyalty got affected with the use of PWA. The web app push notifications makes the customer return to the website again and again. Every time the content changes, the user is notified, which encourages them to come back to the website and check it. Now the service workers and push API allow the PWAs to send messages to the Android notification bar, and hence we can see an increase in the number of customers that are returning again and again. Now, having said all of that, it's time we discuss one such business that went the PWA way during the pandemic and is now reaping its benefits, and how. It's about a cloth face mask that we will refer to as CFM, that set out during the pandemic with PWA and is now performing amazingly well. Um, we at SEDCommerce also had the opportunity to be a part of their success story. We did that through our senior PWA solution, and that worked very nicely for them. And let me walk you through how it all went. So the initial intention behind starting CFM was the fact that they wanted to make wearing masks really cool and trendy among the population, because it is definitely an understood fact that mask was a crucial armor in the fight against the virus. But then convincing everyone to wear it all the time was going to be a challenge, and CFM was ready to take that and be a little innovative in their approach. So they decided to pick PWA, and we couldn't agree more with their choice. Coming to the big question, that why did CFM opt for PWA? Well, it was an obvious choice for them because the business's requirements were a clear indication that what was needed was a solution that had a progressive approach, obviously, and a solution that overcomes the hurdles that might come due to network issues. And it also ensured serving experiences basis the compatibility of whichever device the user was using. And in addition to that, they were also looking at capacitating engagement through push notifications, smooth payment methods, and lots more. In addition to the fact that the solution had to be such that did not require a huge investment, considering the fact that they were just a startup and could not and could definitely put in so much investment, but it was also looking at maximum results in a limited amount of money that they were going to put in. Hence, it was PWA for them. Now, CFM was targeting a very compact layout that was free-flowing and has had an easy conversion funnel. And it also was really looking into quick page transitions and a bit of synchronized processes as well in order to align the overall operation that they were trying to conduct. They were also looking to keep the entire process in a flow that almost feels like a breeze and allows people to finish with a transaction in a very short time. Justified. Also, CFM wanted direct access to interact with its visitors, and adding the CFM icon to the home screen would have done the job pretty efficiently. Lastly, they were most certainly looking at scaling and improvement of the overall performance, increase in the page speed, and better user experience. Now, what worked for CFM was firstly, most definitely their first very fresh approach to making masks that deserves a lot of credit for their success. And secondly, it was coupled with the impeccable PWA solution. The business is now doing well in the domain even as we speak. Post-launching PWA, it now has interactive abilities that are required to attract the customers and especially the new generation customers at their stores. It has also scaled, improved its overall performance. The page speed is better and the user experience now is amazing. As we can see, CFM managed to decrease its cart abandonment rate at a great speed, and it even ended up satisfying its customers that largely comprised of mobile users. And we are glad how CFM now offers great mobile experiences, great speed, and a smooth checkout process. CFM is also observing an increase in its number of visitors and improved conversion rates, great page speed, and yeah. So, well then, now obviously is the time that businesses acknowledge the actual potential of PWA technology to future-proof their platforms and in order to stay relevant as time changes. I'd wind up by stating the obvious. Hostile conditions demand businesses to adopt an adaptive approach for survival, and the same is clear with the current global pandemic as well and its impact. Businesses will need to take some tough decisions, and these tough decisions will come out with logical reasoning itself. Now, considering the fact that financial tangibility is also a very important dynamic to be considered, especially during these times, PWA in that scenario also ticks the box because it is seemingly the way to go. And it is curated particularly to empower ventures to bring about customer experiences that leave a lasting impression, to say the least. That will be all from my side. Thank you.
Hi, thanks, Akanksha, for sharing very insightful session about PWA and how that can help the brands and how brand can adapt this PWA. So it's really a great session. I'm having few questions for you, like what is your thought on PWA for iOS?
Yeah, I can see a question. Can we run PWA on local window or local or on Windows? Yes, we can run PWA on Windows as well as on local host.